Hello guys and welcome back to the AOR PC Split 1 League. This is round 2 at a Bahrain International Circuit. I am Fizzy and yeah, we're about to enter the track in my beautiful Renault for the second round of the Season 12 AOR Leagues. And we are going to jump straight onto my final qualifying lap in the session. You can see it's only 30 seconds to go in the session, meaning I only have one lap to go to improve my time. Going into the lap, I am currently sitting P8 provisionally on the grid. The first lap was it was decent for a bank lap, but I knew there was a few tenths at least to find in that. So let's see if I can do it on this one. Yeah, of course, coming on to this race off the back of a pretty solid season debut, or a return to F1 League racing for me in Australia last week, where I finished P6 after starting. I can't even remember where I started on the grid, but I definitely gained a few positions. But yeah, I finished P6, which is what matters the most, meaning 8 points in the bag so far this season. And of course, hoping to improve on that around here in Bahrain, because it's a track I really do like. Bahrain, one of my... I don't know if I should call it one of my favorite tracks on the game, but maybe it is, to be honest. I do like this track. And of course, those of you who watched me back in the Xbox 360 leagues back in previous AOR season, you might remember that I had my best results in the top league on Xbox 360 back in Season 8, when I finished second here, between Limitless and XMAD G. So I have a decent history around here, and as you can see, currently on this lap I'm improving by a tenth and a half or so. So we dropped to P9 provisionally on the grid, so I need that improvement, but it's not been a very good final corner for me. I've dropped a tenth through the final corner, even more now, and we were temporarily down to 10th going onto the line there, but we managed to move up with that tiny improvement up to P8. And look at the gap behind me. I got 1,000 of a second down to Kellon and 2,000 of a second down to Canali. That was very close, and that little improvement I did on the second lap gained me 2 positions, which was a bit lucky, but also very useful. So we are now on the strategy screen, getting ready for the race, and as you can see, I am setting myself up for 2 stints on the medium compound tires, because in my race practice that I did, those tires, I seem to be pretty comfortable on those tires. They are of course the slowest tire available here, but they are very durable in terms of tire wear, meaning you can run a relatively lengthy stint and, you know, keep the consistency up and not have to worry too much about managing the tires. Bit of a dilemma though with Race Fanatic, my teammate on the grid for this race after missing last week. He's also running the same strategy and he's starting ahead of me, meaning that he gets first dibs on you know, what lap to pit on. And so I think that he is planning to do his first pit stop on lap 5, which seems to be the ideal stop lap for this strategy. But yeah, that's why I set myself up for an early lap 4 stop, because I'd rather have the undercut than the overcut, so to speak. So here we go then for 29 laps at Bahrain for round 2 of the season. The lights are on and they are now out, and away we go. Let's see if we can get a decent start. Certainly a little bit better than in Australia, but not really gaining on any of the cars ahead. Going into turn 1, gotta be very careful. Very hard braking zone going into here. And oh, the Red Bull has spun it. Raven has been tapped potentially there and gone completely sideways. We temporarily had an illegal overtake warning there for some reason, but Kellon got passes in the end. Raven has recovered well, though he's only on the position just behind us, after looking like he was causing some roadblock there. And Non-Runner has had a massive slide there as well. Don't know if there was contact with him, but he's dropped behind us, so we managed to pick up a position there as a result of that. Again, doing what we have to do at the start, just staying out of trouble and picking our way through the cars that aren't quite getting it as clean as they would have wanted. And so it's been a pretty good start to the race here for us. Let's try to get through turn 10 without locking up too much. It wasn't the best line, it could have been much wider on the entry there, but we managed to get through it nicely and cleanly. Non-Runner though, Non-Runner very close behind. He's one of the faster guys in the league, it seems, based on the first 2 races so far. He's from Finland after all, just like my teammates, and people from Finland tend to be pretty fast usually. So now into the 3rd sector of the lap. Another pretty tight entry there, to be honest, but Non-Runner behind, not quite close enough to challenge us just yet. we have to try and get past Kellon, of course. We qualified 1,000 of a second ahead of him. So we know we have the speed to potentially beat him, and he's had a bad run on the final corner, missed the apex completely. We're going to be side by side with him, and Non-Runner's got an even better exit behind. We're going to be 3 wide down the main straight, down towards turn 1. This is going to be scary as fudge. And Non-Runner on the inside, Kellon on the outside, both braking slightly later than us. Non-Runner has got the position, if he can get out of it cleanly, very close with Kellon there. And Kellon has got a bad run over the turn 2 curb, meaning we are going to be side by side with him down towards turn 3 or 4 or whatever it is. And we're on the inside. Kellon has been forced to give us room. Let's see if we can keep it nicely and cleanly on the throttle, leaving him a bit of room on the outside, just in case he's still trying to stick it through. But there we go, we got past him in the end. So passing Kellon, but dropping a position to Non-Runner. God, I can't even pronounce his name. Non-Runner gaining 2 positions down the main straight. Very, very impressive from him to make that move stick. I maybe could have defended more going into turn 1 from him there, but I didn't really expect him. All my focus was on Kellon going down the main straight there, to be honest. I didn't really expect Non-Runners to suddenly pop up there on my right side, which he did. But it's fine, we're still in P7. That battle has cost us a bit of time though to the top 5 in the race. And well, just my lack of pace compared to Non-Runner is costing me time to him right now. But it seems like the guy in 5th place has dropped a bit of time, had a moment up there. I think that's Mini Black in the Force India. Also now going to have Non-Runner for company. That's a beautiful sunset is about to go down over there. And of course, Tigger is in the fastest lap of the race so far. No surprise there. He is clearly the fastest guy in the league, based on what has happened on this game so far. And oh, Non-Runner has had a problem. He's had a problem. He's gotten too close to Mini Black, and he's gotten way too wide on the first corner. So I'll say thank you very much. Go back past him again. Non-Runner not having the best start to this race. He clearly has great pace, but not able to keep it out of trouble for now. And he's even been passed by Kellon again behind me. So he's gone from bad to worse for the Williams driver. But that has worked out well for me. Up to P6 now, the highest we've been so far in the race. And of course, the same position as we finished in Australia. So if we can gain another position somewhere from passing one of the cars ahead, that would be an improvement on the previous race, which is of course what we want. So now at the end of lap 4, we're caught up to Mini Black a little bit, but this is our scheduled pit lap. You can see our teammate has stayed out, so he's clearly intended to stick to his plan of going to lap 5. So we're going to go for the undercut and go in on lap number 4. So we only have 4 laps on the super soft tires. I think we might be even the first man into the pits for mediums here. Let's see if it works out. A very good pit stop from the Renault boys, so 2.2 seconds. Not bad indeed, especially considering both of my stops in Australia were 3-second stops. But you can see all the cars coming past us down the main straight, down to 15th position in the race. And now on the next lap, we can see a few cars in the pit, so we're jumping back ahead of Nally and jumping ahead of Kellon. We have gained time on Kellon from doing the undercut as well. He was only just behind us before. Now he's definitely out of DRS range behind, and even Ryan has gone ahead of him back there. I think Ryan's had a really poor start of the race, though. He's not even pitted yet, I don't think. And now on lap 6, and oh, there's been a problem there! There's been a problem there, as Jonathan Ledgett would very proudly have said. Mini Black was going slow. He was the car that was ahead of me on the first stint, of course, in 5th place, but he's had a puncture on lap 6 on the super soft tires. That is very surprising indeed. And now on the end of lap 8, starting lap 9, 2 more cars in the pit, so we're back into the top 10, into 9th position now. And suddenly there are just no cars around me, as I get a warning for exceeding track limits there, even though I was very, very marginally off track. Still, I was off track, so I can't really complain about it. And then on the next lap, completely losing focus. I definitely kind of complain about that one, clearly cutting that corner, getting in a second warning in the space of a lap for exceeding track limits, which is of course not what you want, because we all know that if you receive 3 warnings for that, then we will get a 3-second time penalty added on at the end. So now we just have to stay annoyingly focused for the rest of the race in order to make sure we don't get another warning. But at least we have moved up to 5th place in the race, with Anuka and Nick Beebe in the final 2 ahead of me to go into the pits, and then nothing really happened. Literally running by myself, doing lap times, all the way until lap 17, and then pitting. I don't know how my strategy just worked out like this, but there was just no cars around me. The top 4 kind of in a class of their own in terms of pace, a bit too far ahead for me to get close, and suddenly I just had a gap to the cars behind, probably thanks to the undercut strategy that I chose, and them battling a bit more than me and losing themselves time back there. So after a second stop, also onto the medium tires, we are in a 12th position on the grid, or in the field, or on the track, or whatever you want to say. But of course, expecting more cars ahead of us now to pit, as they do. You can see there, gaining 2 positions in the pit on the next lap, gaining another position in the pit on that lap, and getting even 3 positions in the pit on that lap. This is the story of my race, to be honest. Just driving along, gaining positions in the pit, and now we are basically up to where we were before. Apart from the car ahead, oh darn, he's running an alternate strategy and actually trying to do the whole race with just 1 pit stop. So he's on the medium tires, but he's been on them for way longer than we have, and trying to make them last until the end somehow. It seems to be working alright for him so far though, because he definitely was out. I think he was outside the top 10 before the pit stops first started, but now he's running in 5th position. So he's trying an alternate strategy, and so far making it work. Clearly has managed to do pretty consistent and good laps throughout the race. But for us, this means that we, of course, for the first time since the first stint of the race, we actually have to pass a car on the track, which is very, very exciting. So let's see if we can do this quite efficiently. We have a 5.6 second gap to non-runner behind, but we can't be affording to lose too much time behind O'Down, especially with the threat of getting another warning and a 3-second penalty. We need to be wary of that gap behind. So now coming onto the back straight with the DRS enabled. On the previous lap my DRS was actually broken, which I didn't know was the thing on this game, but I couldn't use it on the previous lap. Now though it's back, so I can use DRS, but not quite close enough on that particular straight to make a move. But that's fine, we don't need to rush things too much. We know we'll have a great chance if we can just keep close to him here in the final sector. We're gonna have a great chance down the main straight. Getting very close to the back of him. And you can just see the difference in tires. Even though we're on the same compound, his is much more worn out. So let's just get a good run on the final corner. He's had a slight lock up there as well, and we're getting very, very close. Come on, slipstream, DRS should do the trick, surely. Down the straight we go. Try to grab as much slipstream as we can, and then pulling out, and there we go. As long as we can nail the braking now, we should have this move in the bag. Not quite on the apex, but we got it towed in the end. And past O'Down we go. So up to 5th place again, which is where we were before. And as long as we don't make any mistakes now, we shouldn't have to worry about O'Down too much. He will probably have to worry more about the other cars closing in from behind. And that was indeed the case. So as we are now on the final lap, as you can see, nothing more really happened. We weren't able to close the big gap to the cars ahead, of course. And O'Down has been passed behind us as well. Nuka, the car behind on the track. He is under 3 seconds behind actually on that split, but luckily we have managed to stay inside the track limits for all the way for the rest of the race, meaning we are going to be safe from the 3-second penalty unless we screw it up on the final corner, which we don't. So that's great. We're going to finish in P5 as the fireworks are going off down the main straight. 5th place, an improvement since Australia, and a pretty good result for us. Probably the best we could have done considering the top 4 were very, very strong on pace. Non-runner managed to get ahead of O'Down in the end, right on the final corner I think, and my co-op teammate Ryan not having the best of days. He only comes home in 12th position. No points for him this time around. But yeah, that was Bahrain. It wasn't quite a podium like in Season 8, but still a pretty strong showing, gaining 3 positions on where we started in the race. And for much of it, it was more a case of just battling my own concentration levels than actually battling other cars, but still, at this early stage of the season, the result is what matters the most, and the points we've got on the board, which means we have now 18 points in total, which keeps us in 5th position on the standings. And actually equal in points with both Berg and Raven ahead of us, and Race of Fanatic just 3 points behind. So overall, I would say it's been a solid start to the season. The Ferrari boys though looking quite an untouchable Tigger and Marco there at the top of the standings, and of course that is going to put them way up front in the constructor standings as well. A huge gap, meaning that at the moment as it stands, it looks like every other team has to kind of aim for second place as the best they can achieve. But luckily, the Renault, our team, we've got second place as it stands by only 3 points over Red Bull Racing. But that's it. Bahrain done and dusted. Next up we have China for round 3. No idea what to expect there. I will of course be aiming for another improvement on my position. Whether we can do it remains to be seen. So join me next time in China, and thank you for watching this video. And I'll see you then. Goodbye.